So good afternoon, September 22nd, 2014. This is CISG114, Section 1, Web Technology and Life. Today is day number 9 into the 5th week of the semester. So let us get started. Welcome back and good afternoon. This is CISG114, Section 1. Today is day number 9 of the semester. So if you look at the schedule, we are somewhere here. And the theme for this week, as we step out learning contract number 1, we are stepping into learning contract number 2. The theme of learning contract number 2 is SRL, self-regulated learning, which is built on top of inquiry-based learning. And we are going to help you understand in this week topic number 1, blogs, wikis, and photo sharing. And on first day, RSS, podcasting, and social bookmarking. Now, before we get into this, I would like to shift your attentions a bit more to the teacher's message of this week. So, in the teacher's message of this week, we would like you to pay attention to 4 important areas of task development or management that we expect to develop in you through SRL. Now, many people, many professors might have different interpretations or strategies to help students develop this skill, but in the context of this course, I would like you to pay attention to 1, 2, 3, and 4 important areas of task management. Now, when we talk about SRL, I would like to develop your ability in terms of handling or managing your studies. So, to build on top of your skills or experience on IDL, I would like to shift your focus on, rather than just focusing on the problem itself, also focus on the housekeeping stuff, the housekeeping chores. So every evening when you go home to dinner with your family members, you know that maybe your parents have prepared dinner for you, and you know that you can sit down there and have a good and sumptuous meal. But the point is, the housekeeping chore behind preparing the meal is very important. First of all, if you like to eat chicken, you need to inform your mother that I would like to eat chicken tonight. So this information itself is very important. The task analysis helps us to identify the goals behind a particular assignment. That is to determine what needs to be done. What do we need to do to get the goals accomplished? So the natural questions that comes into mind is how much resources do I have to do what within how much time? So normally we need to draw up a timeline. Timeline is a very useful thing. Whenever we try to get something done, we like to look at how much time do we have. It will be largely different if you have 1 day to accomplish a job compared to you have 7 days to accomplish a job. Well, unless, even though you're given 7 days, you just waste 6 days with 1 day remaining to do your job. So the question is resources. The question is goal setting. The question is look into what needs to be done. So when we put things together in your housekeeping routines to manage your learning, I would like you to remember you need to ask the question, what do I need to get done? Now, in the context of a learning contract, you know that at the end of each period, we expect you to produce a set of artifacts. These artifacts represent the amount of work you should have done. And behind the amount of work you should have done, you should develop some kind of experience or skills of capability to manage the work. So the timeline is very important. In the first learning contract, we have 4 weeks time, but in the second learning contract, instead of 4 weeks, you have 3 weeks time. And what do you need to manage within 3 weeks time? You still have to produce a set of similar artifacts just in the first learning contract, but this time is a little bit different. Now in the second learning contract, again, you need to select a topic of interest. This time, when you select a topic of interest, it's your peer's job, not the individual's job. In the first learning contract, when you select a topic of interest, it's your own choice. But in the second learning contract, it's your peer's choice. Now, what does it mean? In the second learning contract, you need to create a team by combining 2 pairs. And in each pair, you have 2 members. And each pair needs to come up with a topic. In the first learning contract, a topic means a question you selected from the reading list. Now, in the second learning contract, yes, you still can select a question from the free reading list covering the 3 weeks outcome-based teaching and learning details. And in outcome-based teaching and learning details, we have laid on a set of course intended learning outcomes. Now, in the second learning contract, you have to start selecting from 1 to 2, not more than 3 intended learning outcomes that you target to accomplish by the team, and that will be your goals. But in the meantime, when you present the artifact, it will be somewhat like in the first learning contract. So it will be something like this. You need to identify the intended learning outcomes that you want to accomplish by reading the intended learning outcome set of the course. You need to select a question from the reading list of the 3 wits. You need to come up with some connections between the intended learning outcome and the questions. Okay? In the first learning contract, the job is, well, I could select one information item under the questions, and then I could practice the skills of OIA. Whatever I selected, it should be related to the question. In the second learning contract, the challenge is you need to relate the question you selected to the learning outcome you want to accomplish. Oh, what does it mean? Well, in the second learning contract, again, you need to select a question, you need to do OIA, you need to do discussions with your peer member, but the topic for the report, it's only one topic for one pair. So the report again, 2 topics, 1 from each pair. Okay? So how do you come up with a topic from each pair? Because each pair has 2 persons. So the 2 members in each pair need to have some kind of negotiations or figure out what are we going to do. And normally, when I say you should select 2, not more than 3 intended learning outcome, that means each pair is responsible for working out 1 intended learning outcome because you have 2 pairs in the team. In that case, when 1 pair has finished 1 intended learning outcome, it brings benefit to the other pair. The other pairs could receive the same intended learning outcome from the other pair. So it's the kind of cooperations, but collaborations too. So when you look at that, the task analysis is very important. You as a team, which is supposed to be formed by next Monday, must think about what needs to be done in your team by selecting 1, 2, not more than 3 intended learning outcome from the course syllabus, and then study the reading list of the following 3 wits. Look up questions that is directly related to your selected set of 2, not more than 3 course intended learning outcome. And then now you have something that can be described as what needs to be done. Then you need to draw up the timeline. Now you have just 3 minutes time. So timeline normally tells you you need to set a milestone at the end of each week. But you cannot have another milestone at the end of the last week. You must have the product work out at the end of the last week. So you actually have 2 weeks plus less than 1 week's time to do the goal setting, divide it, and transform the goal into manageable part which could be submitted as artifacts, create a framework of collaborations and cooperations among members, and check to see how similar this second learning contract work is compared to the first learning contract. Again, we come back to the OIA. You need to identify resources, not just from one member, not just from 2, but from the pairs, from the team, and from individual members. You need to come up with an action plan, not just from the team, but from each of the 2 pairs and from each of the individuals. And then these 2 skill areas must be developed so that you define the resources you need by reading the questions, selecting your 2 or not more than 3 course intended learning outcomes. Then act on it. You don't wait once you have the plan. You act on the plans, check this out with pairs of your team, check this out with members of your pair, and see if your strategy works. What is meant by strategy? Now, if you look at the 2 learning contract, the amount of work is similar. The point here is, in the second learning contract now, you have more manpower actually 2 times of the manpower than in the first learning contract. The challenge is what? The challenge is you must define what you need to get done. In the first learning contract, you don't seem to understand that you need to set goal because the teacher tells you, now you need to select a question, you need to select an example, information item, and then you study that information item, extract the observation, and then ask questions that are the interpretation, and then think about the lessons learned. Now these are what we call mechanical steps, but now it's different. You need to think about, I need to set the goal first. The goals are the course intended learning outcomes of this course. But the resources seems to be the free willingness, as well as the mediums, as well as the manpower and the time. And you need to put them together and challenge you and your peer member as well as the team player. How are we going to cook up something? It's just like a menu with ingredients. So besides taking action and try this out within normally 1 week's time, you need to evaluate your action to see if you are getting somewhere. Okay? When you do the evaluations, you're ready to make modifications to your plan. But remember, you don't have all the time you need. You have 1 week fewer than the first learning contract, but you have 2 times the manpower. All right, okay? That you can use than the first learning contract. So how do you balance out? That is a challenge to help you develop housekeeping capability to do an inquiry-based learning that is directly related to the course intended learning outcomes of this course. Okay, what are we talking about? Well, we are talking about, first of all, in the first week, the topic is blocks for key photo sharing, RSS, podcasting, and social bookmarking. And if you check the course syllabus, look at the topic of the next week and the topic of next week. And then you start to put things together. My suggestion to another section is, oh, what about our blogs? So we are talking about blogs today. If we are a team, can we come up with a team blog? And then we have 2 pairs in the team. Can we come up with 2 pair blogs? And then we indicate in our pair box and team box what we are doing within this 2 weeks. That means no matter what kind of results we're getting, we have already produced something, and that is consistent with one of the course intended learning outcomes. Now the question is, have you studied the course intended learning outcome yet? Do you know what you need to demonstrate by the statement of those course intended learning outcomes? That is the question. So here we go. This is very important. And then before we move into the second learning contract, for those of you who have not finished the questionnaire for the first learning contract, please do it before the end of today. When before I came here, about 10 minutes ago, I checked on it. I find that you have 17 students who have completed the questionnaire, but we have 30 students here. So I'm looking for at least 5 more students to make it over 20, so that I can share the feedback to you on first day. So that's something very important. And then, what is meant by self-regulated learning? Okay, if you ask me, I would like to provide you this very clear example, quoted by from Darwin. If you are a student who has the capability of self-regulated learning, you must be the kind of student, now let's forget about successful first, who would accept personal responsibility. That means you see yourself as the primary cause of your outcomes and experiences. That means if you want to get there from here, you would have to create some plans to transform you from this state to the other state. And you could discover self-motivations. That means you can find some purpose in your life by discovering your personal meaningful goals and dreams. Okay? You can make something out of your own interest. And you can master self-management. That means you can consistently plan and take purposeful actions in pursuit of your goals and dreams. You not just talk about it, you do something about it. And you can also employ interdependence. You don't do it alone. You build mutually supportive relationship that will help you achieve your goals and dreams. In this case, you have an pair, a team with two pairs. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4 important aspects also forms the fiber behind self-regulated learning. Now, having repeated that, I would like to tell you that I'm going to pass the time to the students from last Friday who were supposed to do the presentations or sharing last Friday, but unfortunately, because of the camera problem, I failed to give you a chance last Friday. So here we go. I would like to invite those of you who have not done this from last week to come here to do it. So last week, I remember, if you look at the record, it's only Sylvie and only Eric and Ciel have done this, okay? And Sylvie and Cindy have not done this, and Tony has not done this, and Joelle have not done this. So, Sylvie, are you ready?
We have done that
In
last class.
last class, okay? So, Cindy, are you here?
She did that.
So did you, right? So what about Tony? Not yet? Are you ready? Okay, are you ready? So you can just come up here. Do you have the PowerPoint? It's right here, this one? Okay, just come. It's your time here. And after Tony, it should be Joelle. Alright? So thank you very much for doing this. Can we give Tony some hands? Speak up. The microphone does not seem to work. Okay, that's good.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tony, and today I would like to talk about corporate social responsibility. A simple question to start with: what is corporate social responsibility? Do you have any ideas on corporate social responsibility? Actually, it is a form of corporate self-regulation integrated into a business model. Corporate social responsibility policy function as a self-regulatory mechanism whereby a business monitor and ensure its active compliance with the spirit of the law, ethical standards, and international law. Then, what is the benefit from corporate social responsibility? Undoubtedly, it is a double situation. Once company carry out corporate social responsibility, both company and the society will have benefits. For instance, when company provide training program for the low-skilled labor in society, those people may become more skillful and have higher competitiveness after training. Then they may get higher chance to be employed, and that means the unemployment rate of the society may also decrease. On the other hand, companies that carrying out corporate social responsibility will also gain reputation because of making contribution to the society. People may also build up confidence on this company, and thus may help them boost their business and enlarge their market share. Then let's take a look at a case. With the aims of teaching people be more environmentally sound as they go about their daily life. The 3C companies, which is a real estate developer with premium project in Noida, developed an educational tours which is called Vinopolis. And Vinopolis has a reward program that lets people cash in points for more items and offer on-street recycling activities. This is what the 3C company does. It's about corporate social responsibility. That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much. So, Joel, do you have 2 minutes, or up to 3 minutes?
I forgot to write my partner's
Okay, you can go together.